Hi and welcome to this video. In this video it's all about the custom buttons on the A7C, and guess what? I've got my first intro ever and let's roll that up now. When you've got a new phone, the first thing you do is to set it up, right? And the same goes for a camera, only that in my opinion it's a little bit more complicated with a camera. So that's why I thought I'd share my settings for the custom buttons on my A7C to you so that you can have a look at them and if you'd like to, set them like I did. To start, we head right into the Sony menu on the Movie tab 1 on page 9. The top 3 items are the custom key. So the custom key for photos, for video and for the playback. And we'll start with the custom key for photos. The first page, when we hit enter on the custom key for photos, are the customizable buttons we have on the A7C on the back, on the rear. The first button, the first customizable button on the Sony A7C is the AF on button. And I've set that to autofocus / manual focus to switch it, to be able to toggle that. Next up is the trash button, and here I've set it to the focus magnifier, and I love that because I can make sure that I nailed the focus in the spot I wanted to have. When I use that, I can really zoom in on the spot I want to have to focus, and then I can see if the focus is there, and if it's not, I can adjust it. To be able to use the focus magnifier while taking photos, you need to make sure that you have your focus mode set to AFS, so single autofocus. Since I use my A7C mainly for videos, I've nearly always set it to autofocus continuous, but that's not a problem at all because I've set the shortcut for the focus mode in my function menu on the back of my Sony camera, and I'll just show you quickly how I can change that very easily just from the back of my camera. I hit the FN button, that's the function menu button, and there I can toggle between AFC and AFS. Also, I've prepared a video about the function menu on my A7C and how I set it up, and that's probably gonna be the next video I'll upload. Back in the Sony menu, you have the center button of the control wheel, and I've set that to the focus area. And I've usually have the focus area set to wide, and if I want to have the focus in a precise spot, I use the touch screen on my LCD to put the focus wherever I want to have it. And to set that up, you can go under the second camera tab on page 10, function of touch operation, and then hit touch focus. Now we come to the 4 buttons on the control wheel, the one on the back of the camera where you can turn it around. We have the up, down, left and right button, and next to them we have different items or icons on the back of the camera. And I looked at these icons still match the function of the button. And the first we're going to look at is the up button. It's not in the custom key itself, but for the sake of completeness, I thought I'll take it in. This button is set to the display, and hitting this button, you can change the look of your display. And I like to have all the informations at the corners of my screen. So that's the display I use mostly. The left button on the control wheel is my shortcut to the drive mode, and I usually use it single shooting, continuous shooting for self-portrait, I love that, and the self-timer that are the most used for me. And when I set up the self-timer for the first time, I was so... it made me crazy because I couldn't change the settings of the self-timer. So if you're in this situation as well, when you're in the drive mode, you can go up and down to change or toggle between, for example, single shooting, continuous shooting, self-timer. But within the self-timer, if you want to change that setting, then you need to press left and right, and you can access them. The right button on the control wheel is my direct access to the ISO, and that's very essential to me, alongside with the shutter speed and the aperture. But the aperture and the shutter speed aren't part of the custom key, so we need to hit menu to go back to page 9 to set them up, because the lowest item on the list is the dial/wheel setup. We hit that one, and in there I've set it to AV/TV. But now you might think, well, I don't get it. I have no idea what AV and TV stands for. But there is a trick. You can hit the trash icon and then an explanation will pop up. And now in this case, the explanation is assigns aperture value to the wheel and shutter speed to the dial. If you're enjoying this video, consider liking, subscribing and hitting the bell. That would truly help me out and support me, and yeah, it would mean a lot to me. So if you're enjoying the video, go ahead and do that. And now we move on to the next point. Back in the custom key for photos, my down button on the control wheel is assigned to the white balance, and I've nearly always set it to the auto white balance, since in my opinion it does a pretty good job. Now we go to the next page on the Sony menu for the custom key for photos, and that's the top of the Sony a7c. And there we have only one customizable button, and I've set that to movie shooting. And in my opinion, just the position of this button and the fact that it has a red circle around it is just a perfect match for the movie shooting function. Now we come to the last page, and here we have the option for the customizable buttons on the lens. Not every lens has a customizable button. I have 2 lenses and the other 2 haven't. So my 24mm G Master, which I'm using right now, and my telephoto lens have a customizable button and the other 2 haven't. And for the ones that have, I've set it up to the focus hold so that when I press down the button, the camera will lock the focus. Now we've finished the custom key for photos, and I've looked that I've set up the different buttons on the back of my camera or around the camera, whatever, as similar as possible for the different shooting modes, so that I don't get confused, that I'm not like, but that was for this function, and why isn't it working now? Yes, now I'm filming and not using photos, and if I would change too much around, I would get very confused. And that resulted with me, in my case, I have all the custom functions I could set for the buttons in video to follow along the one I have for photos, so they're exactly the same. The last remaining custom key is now the one for playback, and in this one here I've applied the FN button to the send to smartphone function. So if I go through the photos on the back of my camera and then I decide like, this is the cool one, and when I have this on my phone, I can just hit the FN button and send it to my smartphone. And the second customizable button, that is again the one on the top of the camera, is also here assigned to movie shooting. Now let me know, which is your favorite function to apply to a custom button, or which is your must? Did I miss out a very genius one that I should look at? Let me know down in the comments. Besides custom buttons, you can also set up the memory and memory recall function, where you can save different shooting scenarios or settings you use often, so that you can level up your workflow even further. And I've done a video about that. I'll link it up here so you can go ahead and watch that. And like and subscribe if you want to see more, and I'll see you in the next video.